This video contains spoilers for Season 1 of Daredevil Born Again. Truth be told, I did not love Daredevil Born Again. I wanted to, I really did, but there was just something off. It's certainly one of the best shows Marvel has made on Disney+, but when you compare it to the original Netflix seasons and some glimpses of the immense potential of this series, it really feels so disappointing knowing that we ended up with this.
Now for our next one.
No. To start, I want to address the elephant in the room, or should I say, the Frankenstein in the room. This season was such an absolute mess, it's not even funny. I want to know how Marvel Studios even thought of greenlighting the original pitch of this show. For those of you who don't know, this series was meant to be a soft reboot of the Netflix version to allow new viewers into Matt's story without having to put the burden of the original show on this. But the flaw with that is that the only people who were extremely hyped for the show or even gonna tune into the show were people who actually watched the original show and campaigned to save Daredevil. They were gonna turn their backs on this loyal fan base. Thankfully, the cast and crew took initiative to remind the executives of how terrible of a decision this was, which led to the hiring of a new creative team that tried to save this show to the best of their capabilities. The good news is, the show was definitely much better than it would have been thanks to the new creative team. Bad news, however, is that the new team had to work with the material which was already shot pre-overhaul. I'm only explaining this whole lore to you because it's going to come up several times in this review. So to begin, let's talk about the good. Firstly, I want to commend the performances of every actor involved in the season. Not every character may have been perfectly written, but the cast is so incredibly talented, it shows. Charlie Cox is better than ever before. He's so good that it makes you forgive some very questionable choices the show makes with this character.
Mr. Ayala, yes or no? Are you the vigilante known as the White Tiger?
Objection, Your Honor.
Yes or no? Mr. Ayala.
John Bernthal's Punisher is also such a standout. He steals the spotlight every time he's on screen. And as the case was with Daredevil Season 2, the Punisher is kind of also the best thing about Daredevil Born Again. The true lead of the show, however, is certainly Vincent D'Onofrio's Wilson Fisk. And I say that because this season largely functions more as a Kingpin story than a Daredevil story due to the stronger character building he gets. You can feel Wilson locking away the Kingpin deep inside as he takes on the role of NYC's mayor, but throughout the season you can feel his anger and frustration get the best of him, building towards his ultimate breakdown. Another highlight was A.L. Zura's Vanessa Fisk. Sorry if I butchered her name, but she has so much more command over this character and she completely owns this role. And to think that they had initially recast her in the initial version of this cut. My god, that pre-overhaul creative team was on to nothing. The other side characters do the best that they can, but through no fault of their own, there's only so much they can do with the time that they were given. The score by the Newton brothers is phenomenal, and they take their original Netflix Daredevil theme by John Paisino, which is very chilling. It sounds like church organs and fits very well with Daredevil thematically, even more so than the visuals and storytelling did here, in my opinion. I'd also like to give props to the dialogues in episodes 1, 4, 8 and 9 specifically, because this show has some fantastic dialogues that feel very true to the nature of this world.
They got life!
How about old Foggy? He got life.
The overall theme of our leading characters, Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk, suppressing their darker halves and spending the whole season coming to embrace that side of them is definitely genius in concept. However, the execution leaves much to be desired, especially in the middle chunk of this entire show. This brings me to talk about the poor aspects of the show. And to start off, I want to say that I enjoyed aspects of every episode and I respect every single creative behind the show for their hard work and dedication. However, I need to address how patched up this series feels, tying up to my point of this feeling like a Frankenstein's monster, because you can visually and tonally feel the creative differences in the earlier version of the season compared to the new version. Episodes 1, 8 and 9 are not only some of the best episodes of TV on Disney+, they're almost at the level of Netflix Daredevil. They're brutal, gritty, and mature. Actions have consequences, and our characters react to things happening around them. And then there's everything in between. From episodes 3 to 7, it just feels like an entirely different show. It's not necessarily bad. For what it was trying to do, it did pretty well. I just wish that those episodes had the same weight and impact as the episodes made by the post-overhaul team. The White Tiger plot was awesome. It was so great to see Matt back in the courtroom. But when Hector is shot dead because of Matt's actions, because Matt revealed his identity and let him loose, we don't see him react to it, like at all. This should have broken him. It should have made him question his identity. He'd not just failed as Daredevil, he also failed as a lawyer. He failed as Matt Murdock. He failed to bring justice to Hector and bring justice to Hector's family. And not only does Matt not react to this, he doesn't even go after those dirty cops. He just kind of forgets about them until episode 8, when the new team tries to remind us that these things are actually stuck at the back of Matt's mind.
All right, we defend Hector Ayala. He's still murdered. Probably by the same cops who were out there assaulting citizens, by the way.
But by that point, it's so late because all of these things happened in episode 3, and you can't just bring these back in episode 8 and say that, oh yeah, this stuff impacted Matt, by the way. And then we have Muse. Don't even get me started on this. I was so excited to see Muse. They were hyping him up so much.
I can't wait to see Muse.
Yeah, the Muse stuff is mega.
Oh, the Muse stuff is mega, yeah.
Not only was Muse not mega at all, he was the least compelling part about this season. There was so much potential with a brutal character like Muse, who was clearly being built up over several episodes in the beginning, just for him to just die? Like, right after we discover who Muse is, he's just killed off. Why was he obsessed with Heather? What were his motivations? What was he thinking? Daredevil Season 3 spent hours and dedicated a whole subplot to Wilson Bethel's Poindexter to explain why he is the way he is, to explain his psychology and his relationship with his psychiatrist. Muse deserved the same kind of treatment. His role was so short-lived, you could literally take his entire plotline out of the show and it literally would not have made a single difference to the overall narrative. But my biggest problem is how this entire show writes off Season 3's ending. I know they wanted to bring back Fisk, because he's so formidable and scary and whatnot, but surely there could have been a better way to integrate him into the MCU. Surely. All the pain and suffering so many characters went through in Season 3, especially Agent Ray Nadeem, amounted to absolutely nothing. Just look at how this scene from that finale has aged.
You will go back to prison, and you will live the rest of your miserable life in a cage,
No, he won't.
knowing you'll never have Vanessa.
They are literally still together.
That this city rejected you. It bit you.
Alright, who's gonna tell him?
I bit you.
Now, don't get me wrong. I really did enjoy this show. Alright, just knowing the potential of the show and seeing how phenomenal episodes 1, 8 and 9 were, it just makes me so angry knowing that all the episodes in between could have also been that great.
In the end, I just think that season 1 was kind of alright. But I think the most important takeaway for me from this was that season 2 has the potential to be one of the best Daredevil seasons we've ever gotten, because we have Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead returning, but full time, as they will be directing every single episode in season 2, which is extremely exciting because the work they did in season 1 was so incredible, and to see that carry on over would be incredible. So I think all that Daredevil season 1 does is make me feel excited for season 2 more than it leaves a good impression of season 1 itself. Regardless, I'd love to know what you think. Please share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in another fresh Fancore approved video. Bye bye.